Today on the podcast, we spoke to Jess Furness, who is an amazing runner and presenter over on the Running Channel. She's achieved some incredible things, like winning her first ever ultramarathon, which was 250 kilometres through the Sri Lankan heat, and then going on to break sub-3 in the Berlin Marathon just last year.
Running's been an incredible therapy for Jess to help her through the passing of both of her parents and then unfortunately her eldest brother, Eddie. Eddie would have been 42 this year, which is why she's set on for the incredible challenge of trying to run 42 marathons this year in honour of him. And she's currently 35 marathons of her way through that incredible challenge. And I get the honour of getting to call her my girlfriend.
Running helps so many people navigate through mental health challenges, which is an important message, especially on today, World Mental Health Day. Now let's get into the episode. Hey Jess, thank you for coming on the Runna Podcast. How are you?
I'm good, thank you so much for having me on. It's very exciting to be here.
We'll start where we start with all of our guests. What got you into running on day one?
I think controversially, actually, well, not controversially, but I started running probably from walking. I started just doing this lap around like a farm, around the fields. I just played music really loudly. And I think kind of like sports day, and I was always the one that signed up to 1500 metres because no one else wanted to. That kind of got me pushed to be like, actually, maybe I could run that walk. And for me, I guess that walk started because it was like a way for me to clear my head. Like back when I was 14, my dad died, and I think that was for me just a time to like get outside and just like walk around the fields and just have some alone time. And yeah, it just kind of progressed and it wasn't until university that I started running longer. But I think just for me, like 3K, 5K, anything just like get outside and clear my head was super useful for me.
And it wasn't just running around the fields, you started to do a bit of strength work in the barn?
So I became a little bit obsessed with, I don't know, I guess working out, and I started thinking I wanted to go to the gym when I was 16. So for my 16th birthday, my brothers and sisters all like clubbed together and got me all this like secondhand gym equipment. And so for context, I grew up on a farm. So we were very lucky that then one of the buildings, they called it Jesse's gym. And it was like this dark cobweb room above the cows where it was kind of like persuading any of my siblings to come and like hang out in this gym with me. And I'm not even sure how much I ended up doing that because I think I then found that I wanted to be outside a lot more. But yeah, I think I guess for a lot of us when we're younger and we're thinking about our body image and we're just kind of trying to control the uncontrollable. For me, I think I started using exercise as a way to like feel good about myself and I guess there was ways of that were very negative. Like I wanted to lose weight and I wanted to become stronger, and I started controlling my food and my eating and my like exercise. But then I think it wasn't till later on where I actually found that then really helped me mentally a lot, as well as just trying to focus on the numbers. So that took me quite a long time to kind of grow out of. But yeah, I think running actually started in quite a probably negative way for me, and now it's become something that's like the best thing in my life.
Yeah, because that kind of is full circle, because it sounds like you started walking for your mental health, whereas so many of us like pick up running for aesthetic reasons, and then it feels a bit like that evolved. Do you think that was because of having a bit of control after so much had like gone wrong and so much you couldn't control in your life?
Yeah, definitely. So I think it wasn't actually clear to me at the time. Like I look back now and I think I used to take a pot of frozen peas for lunch when I was like a teenager, and you just think I'd get home absolutely starving and eat everything in the cupboard. But like that was just for me, it was a way, okay, right, I'm going to control this. And I didn't have all these apps to like count your calories or anything. I didn't have any of that. But yeah, like after my dad died, my mum was kind of the person that didn't talk about this kind of stuff, and she didn't want to talk about the negative things, and she really struggled to deal with it. And I think in my teenage years a lot, I kind of just then decided you kind of just have to cope and get on with things. And like I love my mum to pieces, like she loved me so much, like it wasn't like that at all. But it's just that then I just made my own packed lunches because there wasn't really necessarily my parents around. They were busy trying to get my dad treatment for a while when I was younger. So I guess that was then on me to then be like, okay, great, I can control these things, and that's how I'm going to solve it. And now looking back, I realise that's what I'm doing, whereas at the time I hadn't got a clue. I just thought, I just want to look cool.
Mm.
But yeah, then I kind of went off to university, and unfortunately my mum actually died in my first year of university. So it was very early on in December, so I spent the first few months back and forth to visit her in Derbyshire. I went to university in Southampton, so it was a long commute. But I just didn't like first year of uni. I think I actually studied as a children's nurse, and I spent many times on the phone to my brother telling him, I'm not sure this is for me, I don't know if I should drop out. And I just really didn't like first year. But then in second year, I actually found a club called Mixed Lacrosse, which is where I've met Ben. And I think we signed up to do a half marathon as a team. And that's where I was like, this is terrifying. Like, a half marathon is such a long way. So Ben always jokes with me that I took so long to decide to do this race. It was 1 minute to midnight where I decided to sign up, and he was messaging me the whole time being like, have you done it yet? Have you done it yet? And I was like, 1 minute till the deadline. I was like, I'm just going to take the leap. And it was actually probably one of the best decisions I've made because I trained with a group of people, and that was our social time to like go and, you know, train in a way that wasn't drinking at university. And there was, don't get me wrong, lots of times where we'd get drunk the night before, and then it would be that we'd then have motivation to get out the next morning and cure our hangover with a run, which is actually sometimes not great, but a lot of the time it's great.
But that's obviously a time when like running was giving to your life rather than running to like try and shrink yourself or like trying to like take it away. I feel like I've been through that. But yeah, was that the time where running kind of like switched in your head to, this is bringing more to my life and bringing me happiness?
Yeah, it's so hard to tell, because I think having a goal to work towards is what really helps me. That I kind of then, it's getting outside, it's getting those training runs done, and it's really helping me to kind of have something to aim towards. But I think that it wasn't like that was just like the fix to everything. Like throughout university, I was not a healthy person. Like it wasn't like it just fixed everything. I'd still go out drinking all the time, and not that there's anything wrong with that, but like it wasn't like it cured all my eating problems or anything like that. I would still then binge food and make myself sick, and it wasn't that the running was helping me with that. It was more just that I was kind of figuring things out along the way. And then I think it was when I turned, so for my 24th birthday, I decided to run my first ever marathon, because I thought, how cute, it's like 24 equals 42, you know. And that was when I think like I really then started appreciating my body for what it could do. Like it would be, okay, well, I have to fuel because I want to do well in my running. Not like I couldn't just starve myself because I'd get injured. And in that first marathon, I think it kind of started coming into play a little bit. I was probably following this plan from the internet that like wasn't relevant to me at all. And I kind of scraped by my first marathon. But I don't think I like fueled enough for that or did anything right at all. But it then was like the stepping stone to the next stage, where then, you know, like Ben actually started making plans for everyone, PDFs, and he kind of said to me, I'm going to make you a plan for your next marathon. You can actually follow the structure. And that's when I started thinking about my nutrition more. I started thinking about like how to train in a way that was going to help me to not get injured and to actually do well in a race. And that's when I started like really appreciating my body more and thinking, well, I need to do well and like eat properly, because that's going to mean that I won't get injured and that I can actually do well in my race.
I think the big flip that I see, which I think is connected to like the way you speak of your running in such a positive light, was that first half marathon, you were so scared and you needed to be pushed to sign up for it. Whereas your first marathon, you wanted to do it for yourself. And I think like that's the turning point really. And then since then you've set yourself bigger and bigger goals off your own back.
Yeah, it's a bit of a slippery slope, isn't it? It's kind of like you sign into a marathon, like, what's next? No, I think I then really enjoyed doing marathons, because I think it's like those long runs, isn't it, where you kind of forget about paces or whatever, and you can get out there and actually just spend some time with your thoughts. I'm not someone that likes to spend a lot of time alone, so for me then training, no one else wanted to run a marathon with me, surprisingly. So it was a lot of like long miles by myself, and it was between my nursing shifts. I actually lived in Westminster in the nursing accommodation and would do so many miles along the Thames Path, which is just the flattest route ever, out and back. And yeah, I think that was like a time where I actually just had some time to myself. And then it developed from that I found that, you know, my friends started wanting to run half marathons with me, and that was really nice to then socialise with that. And then I'd start, you know, signing up to more races where I found that other people were like sharing the same stories with me or like sharing their cool stories, and then I really enjoyed meeting new people and kind of sharing that love with other people.
Do you think running at that point was like an outlet and helped you kind of sort out the thoughts in your head, or was it somewhere where you didn't have to think about the thoughts in your head and it was a distraction?
I think a bit of both. Like sometimes it completely depends on my mood, and it's not like I ever go out and think this is going to fix everything. Like I now just go out for a run and it's not that deep. It's just I'm going to get my training session done. But it definitely can be a bit of both. Like it can be a time where I can just switch off and think, oh, those trees are pretty. And it can also be a time where I think of all the deep thoughts that have been racing around my head like the rest of the time. So yeah, it's not like a one thing. I guess it's not really like a straight answer. It's just a bit of everything.
I think the thing that people don't see from the outside is just quite how like driven you really are. Like there was this meaningful chunk where you're practicing in the hospital for 12-hour plus shifts, doing night shifts, and the reality would be that Jess would run to work with a backpack and set a half marathon PB, and then run home. And like not every time, but I think the level of determination it takes to be able to do that is, I think, why, as we'll uncover, you've been able to then apply that to go on to do some much more crazy things.
Okay, so the context behind that was I actually signed up without ever having done an ultramarathon to a 5-day ultramarathon, which was 250 kilometres over 5 days. And it was because the runner, which was called the Run Buddy at the time, was setting up a team to go out to Sri Lanka to run this ultramarathon. And I thought, you know what, that sounds fun. Let's just do something that's new. And I was working as a nurse at the time, and it's a lot of kilometres, a lot of training to get to that point. And yeah, these things terrify me. Like I don't think you can just go into a race like that without being a little bit scared. I don't know, if you can, then amazing. But yeah, I would run on my days off, but I guess to get enough miles in, if it was kind of like night shifts or long days, then I'd run it was quite a good chance to do like a half marathon to work. So I did run back one time, and I ran to Ben's house and somehow set a half marathon PB, which I think I must have just been kind of fueled by a rough day at work. And at that point it was kind of like going into COVID, and it was really, really not a very nice. It was a really not very nice time in the hospital. So that for me was like my escapism, my way to like clear my head after a long day before you go to bed.
And I think then this ultramarathon in question, Jess was definitely scared because I put my foot in it. So Jess has like trained phenomenally in the run up to this half marathon. I think in the run up to this 250 kilometer race, and to the point where I kind of said to Jess maybe 2 days before, while we're kind of like traveling around Sri Lanka, I said, I think you can win this. And
I was absolutely fuming.
I've never been in more trouble in my life. And I don't think she actually spoke to me for the next like 2 days before the race started. And ironically, she goes on to win the first day, the second day, and every day. But it was, I think, the fear and the pressure that until you'd seen it happen, that freaked you out.
Yeah, so I think, like, as I said, I always think running's not that deep. Like, it's kind of like a way to go out and enjoy yourself. And I put a lot of pressure on myself sometimes when I do have a goal. So my goal for this run was to get through it. And I thought, this is beyond. And I just thought, I don't know who else is running. There's like people who do this, you know, in their day jobs or whatever. So I just thought that's really rude. That's really rude to put that pressure on me. But he did prove me wrong. And sometimes he knows running a lot better than me, which is really annoying.
So you obviously are a very good runner, and obviously you put in the time. You're obviously very like high achieving with your job in the hospital as well. But do you think all of that is really down to like your mental strength? Do you think you just had that self-belief to be able to smash those 5 days for that ultramarathon?
Yeah, I think I don't know if anyone else has found this who's kind of gone through grief, like lost anyone, but I think something that really sticks with me a lot is that there have been some dark days, and I think I always kind of go back to when it gets hard. Like, I've got through worse than this. This is just like physical pain. It's not mental pain, which I think physical pain is easier to get through than mental pain. So I think that is kind of now, I guess, a bit of a superpower. Like, I wouldn't ever wish this on someone, but if you kind of have to go through it, then at least use that to your strengths, and you can go out there and hopefully set yourself some challenges that will help you get through that in other ways. So yeah, I think I kind of probably just unlock my brain to be like, just do it, because it can't be any worse than what you've been through already.
Yeah, I think that is a story you hear quite a lot of, people going through trauma and really hard times. And do you think it's a bit of like, when you're feeling really down, you're feeling at your lowest, it's like, what have I got to lose? And almost like the other people that you're doing it for, like, they would love to be doing it too, and it's like you've kind of got to honor them.
Yeah, I think there's so many things about it, and I'm really lucky that I've got such a loving family, and you know, I always think about them when it's getting tough, and I think, oh, I hope they're proud of me. And I always think, like, can't wait to tell them all about it. So yeah, that's definitely something that kind of keeps me going, is the fact that, you know what, soon it'll be over and I may as well enjoy it as it's going on, because, you know, like, not everyone has these opportunities, like, to go out to Sri Lanka and be running out there in crazy hot conditions. But still, I think, yeah, I'm super lucky to have these opportunities. I'm sure lots of people would love to be able to go to all these amazing places and run. So yeah, may as well enjoy it.
I think the mental resilience being your superpower is very true. But I think you've also been able to demonstrate that applies to all ends of the spectrum. And not only have you gone on to do this 250-kilometer ultramarathon, you've done Ironmans, and you've broken the sub-3 mark. Tell us about your sub-3.
Yeah, so it's actually a really annoying target to get. It's actually really hard. I think it's like, it's become a bit normalised that everyone's like, yeah, go break sub-3. And you talk to people and you're like, going to go break sub-3 today. And I'm like, what? It took me like 5 years. No, I think I signed up, to do my first marathon when I was 24. And I think it was last year that I broke sub-3. So it wasn't that I set out and ever thought I'd ever get close to that. When I started running, and especially started running a marathon, like, I didn't even know what a good target was. I just kind of thought, I'll just do a time that I'll just get whatever time I get. But yeah, I think it was when I did like 3:23, and then the next one I think I did like 3:07, and when it got to 3:07 I was like, I might just go for it now, like, this seems like a good number to target. And I didn't get it. I got 3:05 I think in the next one. And then annoyingly in London Marathon, when it was the really rainy year and like just after the one that had been delayed after COVID, and I went out there and got 3 hours and 10 seconds. And I can't tell you how much that 10 seconds haunted me. It was so annoying. But at the end of the day, I was like, well, 10 seconds seems a really stupid number to be like bothered about. So I could just leave it and be like, well, basically got 3. But I love running and I love a good target, so it just made me more determined than ever. So yeah, last year in September, I went out there and broke my 3-hour target, which was a very nice feeling. I think just having these like targets that are achievable but kind of really tough really helped me, because it gives me that structure that I love having. It sounds a bit sad, but like, I think it's given me structure into so much of the rest of my life. I know my week revolves around running. I'm kind of fine with that. I know my social life revolves around running, and I'm like, yeah, I might be a bit boring, but I just think like that really helps me in my life with a lot of things. And has also given me confidence in a lot of things as well. Like, if you look back at me at university, scared to sign up to that first half marathon race, it's not like now I'm super self-confident and I like think I can hit all these crazy targets, but I at least am willing to kind of take that risk. And I think I'm proud that I'm like able to be in that position now where I can be like, I'm going to sign up and do it, and if I fail, then at least I've tried.
And I think you also have a huge backlog of evidence that you can do it, and you keep doing it and keep getting better. Does it make you think that the sky's the limit and you can keep shaving minutes and minutes off that 3-hour mark?
Well, it's funny actually. I think you get a bit carried away, don't you? Where I was like, what does it take to become an elite? And I have absolutely no interest in becoming an elite, because it takes so much. I mean, I think sacrifice is the wrong word, because I think if you really want it, it's not really a sacrifice. But for me, I'm just too blasé. Like, I'm too much like, I'd rather go and do that with my friends and like sacrifice that session. I'd way rather, skip that for an easy run. So I think for me, I am bothered about the times, but overall I know that it takes so much like grit and determination to get down to like, for me to get sub 3. So to go any further, I will keep trying to chip bits off, but like at one point I was thinking maybe I'll just go for like 2:30, but absolutely not. I don't think that's for me.
You don't.
I think if you do want to see the sheer level of grit it takes, Jess works at the Running Channel and is one of the presenters there, and they filmed the sub 3 in Berlin last September, and it is an incredible watch. So I would encourage anyone to go and watch that. And what was your finish time?
I got 2:59.22. And I literally just scraped under, but I'm very happy about it. But no, yeah, I think like if you could see me in the run up to that, and you can see me doing races now, I am that person that will probably cry on the start line. Like, it is not like I'm going into it super confident. And that's something that I'm working on a lot, because it probably is a bit of a limiting factor for me, is the fact that like Andy, my boss, or, that works at the Running Channel, he always says to me like, you've done like a lot of really good training sessions, like you're on track for sub 3, like why are you so scared? I'm like, I don't know, I think it's just going to be always me, that I'll just not be quite sure I can do it until I get there. So yeah, like when it's endurance, I'm like, I know I'll stick it out to the end, but if it's kind of a time, I'm like, well, it's anyone's guess if I get it.
So you ticked off sub 3, and more recently you've gone for a crazy challenge which you can't be that confident about, but it is endurance. Can you tell us about what you're trying to complete right now?
Yes, so this year in 2025 I'm trying to do 42 marathons in the year. So I've just finished my 35th one of the year. So I'm very happy that, given it's September, I'm in a good position, that I feels like kind of the home straight now with 7 left to go. But yeah, it's definitely been an exhausting year.
Tell us about why you're running 42 marathons this year.
To add to the series of unfortunate events, my oldest brother Eddie died 4 years ago, and he would have turned 42 this year. And I absolutely love him to bits. He is like my best friend. My brother has also been, I guess, a bit of a parental figure, as there's 13 years age difference between us. So I used to call him like most days about absolutely anything, and I love him to pieces, so I miss him a lot. And I think this year I've been thinking for a while about what I wanted to do kind of in honour of him, but also to give back to the running community a little bit and what it's given me. So yeah, the 42 marathons seemed fitting, that 42k for 42 years of his life. So yeah, I think I'm raising money for Big Moose charity and also the Air Ambulance, because they're charities that have helped me a lot over the years. So the Air Ambulance is a charity which I didn't realise for a while, that helps people, if they really are in dire need of it, and they helped my family. And then Big Moose charity is a mental health charity that provides therapy to people when they're kind of in urgent need of it, and they helped me a lot as well. So I really wanted to give back to the community in that way, but also in the way that I'm inviting people to join me on my challenge. I love running with people, and I think so many people have come out to support me. So if I can, introduce people to people in their area that love running as well, or, get out for some chatty miles, I guess I hope that it helps people in a way that it helped me.
And have you learned anything about yourself in the 35 you've done so far?
Yeah, it's been an absolute roller coaster, let me tell you. I think when it started the year, I knew it was a bit of a punchy challenge, because I am working full time as well. I'm really lucky that the Running Channel are, sending me out to some marathons along the way as well. But at the end of the day, it's in my own time. It's at my weekends that I'm doing this. So I think I've realised not to do this again. No, I've realised that, I am determined, and people have said, like, are you worried you're not going to complete it this year? And there was a time, probably in May, when I got injured, that I thought, have I been an absolute idiot thinking I can ever do this? But I've learned that I will probably stick it out no matter what. Like, I'm going to get to the end of it. So I think, yeah, I've learned that about myself, that, I probably am a bit more stubborn than I thought. But also, I have struggled with it a lot because it's also kind of brings my family into it a lot as well, and I've worried that they've kind of been like, what are you doing? Their years had to kind of be roped in to a lot of my marathons as well, and you know, my siblings all took on their first ever marathon this year, I guess because of me roping them into it. So that was a worry of mine, but I've actually learned a lot about myself and them from them just like telling me that they're proud of me and that they're like super proud of me of doing this year, and I guess trying to help people in a way that trying to help people that in the way that I am. So yeah, I think it's probably I don't think I've told you any learning points about this.
Yeah, that was really good.
I think the thing that's clear is that you've also helped your family. Like, while you feel like you've dragged them into running their first marathon, they've all found a bit of running as well, and doing that's going to parkrun, that's training for their first marathon, and then sharing their first marathon with you. And I'm sure it was a hard day out when they ran in the rain in the New Forest, but at the same time, they all ran a marathon, and they'll be ever more grateful to be a bigger part of your challenge, having done that as well.
Yeah, I think for me, running is a big help to my mental health, whereas it's not necessarily why everyone else runs, and that's fine. Like, I think whatever reason you want to run is fine. My sister said to me last year, I think, like, you come home to see us, but you're just out running all the time, so we don't get to see you that much. And now they get to come out running with me, and they feel great, and they feel better for it. So I really hope that I've kind of like helped them in some way to show them that, you know, running is great, and it's a good way when you've got kids and you've got a busy lifestyle, that actually prioritizing yourself and getting out there and getting some fresh air and those endorphins is really helpful, and it probably makes you a better person for prioritizing yourself a little bit as well. So hopefully that's helped.
For anyone trying to actually imagine what you are doing this year, running 42 marathons in a year, or 35 up till now, and we're in the middle of September, is pretty much running a marathon every week or every weekend. And in reality, that means that Jess is running a marathon every weekend, or if she wants a weekend off, she's got to get up at 5 a.m. and run a marathon before work. How tired are you?
You should probably answer this one. No, I actually think it's hit me a lot more recently. I think at the start of the year, I was physically fatigued, whereas I don't know how to describe the tiredness. It's kind of like down to my bones. It's not like my muscles ache. Like, I did a marathon 2 days ago, and my muscles don't ache because it's kind of like I'm not going for a time. It's not like I'm pushing my body to its max in that marathon, but I am just mentally quite tired from planning, from the logistics, from the travel, from running itself, and I guess also from the emotions that it brings up as well, and the reasons why I'm doing it. And I've learned a lot that I probably do have a limited social battery. I thought I had endless social battery, but I'm tired in ways that I didn't really expect from this year, I think.
But you've also just done 8 marathons in 8 days, so that is probably why you're also a bit more tired.
Yeah.
How was that 8 days?
Yeah, I think I started the week thinking I'm going to have to just set off each day and see how I get on. And I kind of was almost preparing myself for announcing to everyone that I hadn't been able to do it, because I did 3 marathons a couple of weeks before that in the lead up to it as training, I guess. And I genuinely thought I wasn't going to get through those 3 days because I just didn't think I could do it. But yeah, I think telling myself that, you know, it's fine, you can face telling everyone that you've dropped out and that you haven't done it, and you'll just find a way to do those marathons somewhere else, probably gave me a bit more like, what's the worst can happen? I can go out there, and the worst that's going to happen is I'm going to like stop after a few kilometers. But I had some amazing people joining me along the way, and they carried me through. I actually just ended up talking to new people, learning about their lives, and had a great time, I guess, in retrospect. At the time, I probably wanted to stop along the way. But yeah, it was really tiring. And I think driving between all the different places as well. I tried to travel from London to a few different cities back to Derbyshire where my family live. And yeah, the logistics of that and driving in between was probably quite exhausting, as well as the running itself. But when I had kind of a few to go, I was thinking like, this is really worth it because I've ticked off a big chunk now, and it means that I can actually now go into hopefully a bit of a training block to maybe try and get another fast time in Valencia at the end of the year. So my plan is now to do 3 more marathons between now and December, and then in that time try and pick up a little bit of speed, and I don't want to say it, but break 3 hours again in Valencia in December. So yeah, I think I just setting myself another target.
I honestly think you're incredible, and I don't know if you quite realise how impressive what you're doing is. And I guess, Ben, from a sideline point, like watching, have you seen anything in Jess? Just, it must be really hard for you to watch her going through so much mentally, and you said it is a real like emotional thing, and also physically her struggling with like not being able to do it. How has it been for you, like having to support, like trying not to emotionally take on all the load?
Well, I haven't always been the best supporter, but I think it's just very clear that Jess is the strongest woman in the entire world, and that I really don't think there's anyone that could get through what she's been through and then smile every day, and apply that into some kind of like crazy good energy to do something fantastic. But it's frustrating because there's nothing I can really do to help. There's no running plan that can make running 42 marathons easier, and there's no food that I can go and buy or support that we can do to help get her through this year. So it really is the case of telling her well done and looking forward to her having a bit more energy when it's all done. But I think presumably you're able to now look at the rest of the year and know that you did 8 marathons in 8 days. You've now got 4 months to run 7. That there must be an element of optimism, and now each of the 7 ahead can feel a little bit like a victory lap.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it is crazy because everyone kind of thinks they can't really help, and yet kind of like friends, family, like Ben and strangers on the internet have been the most amazing support ever. Just telling me that they went out for a run because they felt like, you know, I'd inspired them to do it. That keeps me going every single time. So all of those lovely messages have been amazing, and the amount of friends and family who have come to join me on my runs, like, you know, Ben giving up his lunch break or whatever, or, you know, his weekend to come and run bits of it with me, have been amazing. So yeah, I actually think at the end of this year I'm going to have to give an award to all of my friends and family for putting up with me, because I am a bit stroppy at times. So yeah, it's definitely them that get the phone calls of me kind of crying down the phone or whatever. But yeah, on the whole, I think I'm trying to look at it really positively, and yeah, to have the home straight ahead of me. I think next year I'll probably look back and be like, I should have enjoyed every second of it. So I'm going to try as I go along. And everyone always asks me during the marathon, like, oh, how are you feeling? How are the legs, kind of thing? And I just think they're just going to hurt, and I'm just going to have to keep going. So yeah, the 8 marathons in 8 days was like a big confidence boost. And I did get injured back in May, and I couldn't run for a whole month, and that really, really put the pressure on. So to then be able to come back and, I guess, heal on the go and keep running while recovering from that has been like such a blessing. And yeah, I'm just lucky that I'm able to carry on.
And with every marathon you've done, you've been sharing the conversation about mental health and how running can help your mental health, and strangers doing the same thing, and you know, them telling you how you've helped them. Why do you think it's important that we do keep having these conversations?
I'm very much reminded all the time of how when I keep things in, it really festers and I end up exploding and it really doesn't help me at all. So I'm not the best at it, but I think like we can encourage each other to keep having these conversations, to keep being honest, and knowing that we're not the only person in that situation is super important. I definitely think mental health, you know, used to be a bit of a taboo subject. You didn't tell people that you were struggling, and when I was a teenager, used to kind of not want to tell my friends about things because I felt like they'd think I was a weak person. Whereas I'm definitely learning now this year that it doesn't make you weaker. You can actually come back stronger, and you'll learn to, use all those feelings and those conversations to help other people and yourself. So yeah, I just encourage everyone to kind of go out there, and if you haven't got anyone to talk to, then there's charities like Big Moose. There's kind of lots of phone call lines that you can ring, and there's always someone to talk to. Like, go to your local run club, and I'm sure everyone will be happy for you to bite their ear off with some conversations. So
well, yeah, Jess, it's absolutely incredible what you're doing, and we're going to be cheering every step of the way for the last 7. We're going to segue over to Steph for our coaching tip of the week.
My top tip today, or a little bit of advice, is to face your fears. I used to get so hung up about going to races and only ever running a PB, but the reality is we can't run a PB all the time. Enjoy the other aspects of racing. The atmosphere, the buzz of running with other people, the opportunity to practice your warm-up, your fueling routine. There's so much more you can get out of it.
Thanks for that, Steph. Before we come back to the episode, I wanted to say a little extra something. As you can imagine, Jess's challenge is incredible, and I wanted to do a little extra to try and support that. And so as a way to try and encourage you all to get behind her and support the 2 amazing charities that she's supporting, both Big Moose, who provide free therapy sessions, as well as the air ambulance, who help people in a time of crisis, I'm going to be matching every single one of your donations between now and the 2nd of November, which is Jess's birthday. So please check out her page. We'll have a link to it in the description of this episode. Currently, her page is on £7,240. So for every £1 that you guys donate between now and the 2nd of November, I will match that donation. Now back to the episode.
I'm going to bring us back with our discussion for the week, which is very topical. So I'm going to ask Jess first of all. When you reach those tough miles where it feels impossible to keep moving forwards, how do you keep going?
Definitely food motivated. So some nice food at the end is a motivation. But yeah, I think back to all those hard training sessions I've done, all the kind of miles I've put in early mornings, late nights, all of those things that have helped me get there, and probably all the people I've told that I'm going to do that race, and that gets me to the end.
I think you're definitely also super powered by your family and your friends as well. I think if you're ever struggling, someone gets a phone call, or if you see someone cheering you from the sideline, you just get a barrage of additional energy.
Yeah, if anyone cheers me from the sidelines, it's honestly the biggest boost, whether I know them or not. And I've definitely phoned my sisters a lot of times where they have to FaceTime me and just talk to me to keep me going. But all of those messages, all those support, I always think just helps me.
Do you have any secret ways to get you through, Ben?
Do you know, the one that keeps coming to mind, which has probably been the bigger motivator over the last few months or this year, has definitely been the case that I think I've not had the as much confidence in my own running than I had a few years ago. I've had a few injuries, and so I think going out and doing a 15k or a 20k long run feels like a really long way. And I'm then thinking, if Jess can run a marathon, I can do a 20k long run, which has worked. And I feel like, I did the Berlin Marathon on the weekend, as did Jess, and it wasn't that scary. And I'm also doing the New York Marathon, as is Jess, on her birthday, and I'm feeling less scared by running a marathon now. So I think, definitely relativity makes what I'm doing feel a little smaller. So it's definitely been helpful.
Yeah.
Just to caveat though, that I'm not encouraging anyone to go and run a marathon if you've not trained for it, and it's still a long way. So
well, yeah, and you've got the years of training to be able to do what you're doing.
I think training's a big part. I think like running's one of the things where luck doesn't play into it much. Like definitely the hard work you put in, you like get the rewards from. So I'm always like, if you're training hard, that means you're going to race a little bit easier, and I think that gets me through.
Yeah, I think when you hear the word race, sometimes it freaks me out. Sometimes I like to just think of it as an event. So it's like a little party you're going to, because at the end of the day, the hardest work was all the training to lead up to it. So the event itself is just the party.
It's the victory lap. And you've got 7 more victory laps, not just one. So you've got the real party in store.
Yeah.
We're going to segue over to our this or that's. So a few ridiculous ones here, and I hope no one has to do this. But Jess, would you rather, as a 2 times Iron Woman, would you rather next year do 42 Ironman distance triathlons?
No.
Or 365 days of marathons?
That's awful. And I'm actually quite scared he's going to sign me up to do these.
That's the surprise you were talking about.
Oh,
Happy
my
Christmas.
goodness. Imagine a Christmas present. That is really tough. Okay, so every day I'm running a marathon. No, I don't want to do that. But I also don't want to do 42 Ironman events. Like, doing one Ironman event, honestly, is just so hard. It's such hard work. I've signed up to one next year and I'm not sure I'm ready. I'm going to do 365 marathons.
Really? Wow.
No, I'll do 42 Ironman. No, I don't know now. You're scaring
There's no
me.
wrong answer.
I don't want to run a marathon every day.
I feel like imagine getting 200 marathons in and then getting an injury. Whereas like you were able to kind of like overcome an injury taking a month off.
Do you know what's really hard is sometimes I wish you could just do it all in a week. Because it's kind of out of the way and you know you can struggle through a week. Whereas me knowing I've got a whole year ahead, I'm kind of like protecting myself on the way. So could you just do the 42 Ironman events back to back in 42 days?
You could do.
Yeah, I'm going to do that then.
Okay.
Just get out of the way, you know?
Anya, what are you doing?
That sounds more appealing. It doesn't sound appealing at all, but that does sound more appealing. I was straight up like marathon every day, but yeah, I do think it will get a bit monotonous by the end, and I won't want to do it. And
That would be a lot of laps of Battersea Park.
What about you, Ben?
I think I'm having to do the triathlon. I'd be too sad to miss my bike. If I ran a marathon every day, I'd have no energy left. A, I wouldn't be able to do it, but B, I'd have no energy left to then go cycling. So I'd miss cycling.
Yeah.
So I think I'd take the Ironman.
Someone actually asked me this on one of my marathons. They said, would you like to go and take the Ironman record in a row? And the women's record is something like 23 in a row. So he was like, it's fine. The men's is like 200 days straight, whereas the women's is only 23. So he was like, why don't you just go and beat that?
Only.
Yeah, Jess.
I was like, absolutely no interest in doing that.
You shouldn't have told me that. I'm going to be whispering that to you every evening now.
Gosh.
Okay. I think I know the answer to the next one. Would you rather, for the rest of your life, every run is in the rain? Hot rain, cold rain, snow, but it's always raining. Or glorious weather, but you're always running on your own?
Oh no, I really love the sun. But I don't like running by myself. I also want to say the opposite to Ben just to prove him wrong. I'm going to have to run in the rain because I can't run it all by myself. It'd be so sad and lonely. What about all my friends?
Yeah, I thought that was a clear answer, Jess. What about you, Anya? Are you a lone runner with some nice sunshine, or are you a rainy runner?
A rainy runner?
A lonely runner or a rainy runner?
I'm a bit of a lone wolf. I do quite like my own time for my running. Yeah, there's not many people I run with.
Wow. I'm picking Rain and Friends.
Okay. Well, maybe leading on from that, your final this or that. Would you rather? So, you mentioned you both did Berlin Marathon at the weekend. So, for the rest of your marathons this year, would you rather have this amazing motivational guy that can help pace you, sing alongside you, keep you going, Harry Styles? Would you like Harry Styles singing and doing all of that with you for the rest of your marathons this year, or Ben?
Aww.
All three of you ran Berlin.
I've never met Harry. He might not be very nice.
But he's probably a better singer.
True.
I have heard Ben supplies banana bread for your marathons and sings for you.
One headphone
That's
each.
true. I did make the banana bread though to him to bring it, and he does. He's not a good singer, but he is enthusiastic, which is the main thing.
I think I've got the lung power to get the words out while I'm out of breath, but the tone is non-existent.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to choose Ben.
Aw.
I'm sorry, Harry, but I'm not no good singing.
Well, he will be devastated because we know he is a big listener.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Harry, if you're out there, I would love it if you run with me, but not every single one because Ben has to be there.
I'll run with you, Harry.
Our final question, Jess, is for you to design your dream race. So, how far is it? Where in the world is it? What's the food and the drink at the finish line? And who gives out the award?
Honestly, the amount of pressure I'm feeling to think of this answer is like it's actually going to happen.
So first of all, the distance.
Okay.
And the sport. Is it a run? Or is it a triathlon?
Ooh. Okay. I'm going to say it's a run, and it's probably a half marathon around that distance. It's just, the sweet spot. It's kind of not going to tire you out too much, but you can run a little bit faster. Location?
Mhm.
It's going to have to be hot. I think it's somewhere sunny. I really like the sun. And also you can take on a little holiday. So I'm thinking somewhere I've never been before, but not like crazy hot because it makes it a little bit too hard work.
Mm-hmm.
What's like the Philippines like in like
Not
does that
very-
get to
not-
like average temperatures?
I think it's very humid.
Yeah, I think that'd be like Sri Lanka. You could do it in Sri Lanka.
No, I think that was hard.
I think Philippines is similar humidity, I reckon.
Okay, fine. Philippines, I'm just going on holiday. Okay, I think it'd have to be on the trails in a nice little scenic route. Maybe somewhere like Mallorca would be quite nice. That'd be nice. Like hilly, but not too hot, but nice and hot.
Mhm.
And then it's great for cycling afterwards if you want to stay on a little
Mhm.
holiday. And then what was the last bit?
Food and drink. And then who's giving you the award? Who's putting on your medal?
Food and drink during the race.
At the finish line.
Oh, at the finish line. Oh, okay, fine. I think I'd have to go for like Reese's Pieces, chocolate brownie, but only if it's made like homemade by someone really good.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely a low gelato. I'm thinking pistachio, hazelnut, a lot of different flavours. Maybe salted caramel. Yeah, you're going to get that in there. And then I should probably have something savoury as well. You could put a little bit of like pizza in or something, but I'm not too bothered. And then giving out the award at the end. Oh no, I'm going to sound really cheesy, but can I just have like my whole family there to give out my award? That would just be so cute. I've actually got 7 nieces and nephews, and I just think they're the most amazing people in the whole entire world, and I just think they'd be the best people to give out my award.
Oh,
So,
you got 7 medals.
Sounds like a lovely race.
yeah. Oh yeah, maybe I'd get 7 medals. That'd be even better.
Well, Jess, I think hopefully everyone has enjoyed listening. I think what you have achieved already is incredible, and what you're doing this year is absolutely inspirational. Good luck for the final 7 marathons. I hope you enjoy them, and we cannot wait to be cheering you every step of the way.
Thank you so much for having me, guys. It was so nice to talk to you guys.
On this World Mental Health Day, and in fact every other day, if you are struggling, remember you are not alone. Please do reach out and seek help. There are some amazing charities out there like Big Moose, and we'll be linking some others below that might be able to help out. Remember you are not alone, and there's always someone there to listen.